Hey everybody, Chris McGraw here from Almost Adventurous, and today I'm going to talk a bit about my favorite line of clothing from Patagonia. I did a review on a Nano Air light hoodie, which is like a half zip, lighter weight version of the jacket that I'm going to be talking about today, which is just the regular Nano Air hoodie. As far as the lineup goes, the jackets that I have Nano Air wise are the Nano Air light hoodie, which you can check out in a review that I did a couple months ago. I also have the Nano Air hybrid hoodie, which is this guy right here. It's got like waffling on the back. There's a new one coming out soon, which I'm super stoked about. It has the R1 Air on the back instead of like this waffle pattern. Probably one of my most worn jackets. And then this one, which is just a regular Nano Air hoodie. This one is definitely my most worn jacket, period. Hands down, game over. I got this quite a while ago. Let's look and see what year it is. This is the first generation. I think, yeah, I got this off of Worn Wear back in the day, back when they still actually stamped in the amount of money that that they offered it on the site. So I bought this on Worn Wear for $90, which is funny because like today, if you were to buy the same generation jacket, it's close to $150. This one's from the first year, which was fall 2015. This is probably my favorite colorway of it. We got this nice green and then the peppergrass green on the inside. A lot of my jackets are peppergrass green, and so this is just a nice way to, not have every single one of my jackets look the same, but still have that color that I love. I think when it was released, there was a cool like blue with an orange interior, and then possibly my favorite or second favorite compared to this, which was purple and red, which is the same color as my DAS parka. And I remember when this first came out, there was actually like an issue where, I don't know if it was so much of an issue, it wasn't an issue for consumers. Costco actually got their hands on this unknown to Patagonia, and they were selling them for super cheap. That hasn't happened since, unfortunately. The biggest thing why I love the Nano Air is because it's nice and soft and it's stretchy. It's got stretchy insulation. So on the outside, it's fairly lightweight. 20 denier ripstop on the outside, 50 on the inside. And I haven't had any issues, even though 20 denier is pretty lightweight, I haven't had any issues as far as tearing that I know of. On a lot of these synthetic jackets, it's a little bit harder to notice the tearing because you aren't seeing feathers fly out when you put it on. But yeah, it looks like I don't have any tears on this one, and I've done a lot with it. Let's just move down the jacket. So the hood is nice and tight, so it'll fit underneath a climbing helmet or a ski helmet for that matter, I guess. I've worn it underneath both. And it's nice and soft around, your face. It doesn't really have too much of, like on the zipper here, it has this little protector so you're not feeling the zipper up against your chin when it's completely up. But because the interior and exterior fabric are so soft, it doesn't really need that a whole lot. As far as what kind of insulation it has, so the light hoodie, which I reviewed before, has 40 grams of the FullRange stretch insulation. This has 50% more, so we're talking 60 grams. As far as for me, temperature wise, everybody's going to be different. Some people run hot, some people run cold. I don't really know where I fit in as far as the range goes, just because how I feel is the only way that I've ever felt. But as far as what I feel comfortable wearing this in, by itself, I probably wear it down to the mid 30s if I'm going to be walking or whatnot. The other day I went hiking and it was about 30 degrees, and I wore this over this R3, and I was also carrying my daughter, and this is way too warm. So if you're walking uphill in the sun, maybe a bit too warm at 30 degrees. For me personally, if I'm just doing a casual walk down to maybe the mid 30s, I don't wear this by itself when it's below freezing. I tend to wear more layers than this. It's a slimmer fit, which I like. It's not super slim. I'm 5'7", 38 chest, 5'9", wingspan, 158 pounds. And this medium is slightly loose, but not so much so. As far as like, if I tried on the small, it'd be way too tight on me. So I stick with the medium. And even when I was training for like an ultra project a couple years back, and I got down to like the low 140s, and this felt big, but it still fit me better than the small did. I actually thought about selling it and getting a small. I'm super glad I didn't, just because I don't like to be constricted, especially even with the stretch insulation. You don't want to be super constricted. So let's go through the jacket. Like I said, tighter helmet, hood, under helmet hood, I should say. The pockets are really nice. There are 4 of them, which is great. So there are 2 chest pockets. So you got one here, one on each side, and then 2 hand warmer pockets. One of the things that I use this for a lot is fly fishing. If I don't want to bring my vest, having the 4 pockets is super nice. I can fit a fly box in the hand warmer pockets, and I can fit some of my other stuff up here. I know Patagonia makes like the Tough Puff hoodie specifically for fly fishing. At one point I had that in a size medium. The fit was a lot different, a lot more generous than the medium of the Nano Air, but I found myself like reaching for the Nano Air more, not only because of the fit, but also just because it was always out, and it was like one of these things where I didn't need 2 different jackets. A lot of the clothing that I have can, cross over multiple activities. So if I can narrow down, I mean, you see how many jackets I have here. If I can narrow down some of them, I will. And this is one case where this was just as good as a fly fishing jacket as the Tough Puff hoodie was. And that, even though that's a specific to fly fishing jacket, at least on their site. It had the stretch, it let me cast really easily, and it let me carry a ton of stuff. So this is my go-to when I'm going out fishing. So if we look at the baffles here on the arm, go down and we have this stretchy cuff. This is a 1st gen cuff. They changed the cuff 2nd gen and newer. I think I still like this one better. I mean, this is the same cuff that was on the down sweater until recently. Same cuff that's on like the snap tee, and it just works for me. I don't need something to change necessarily from this jacket. So yeah, the baffling is pretty wide. It changes a little bit down towards the end of the arm here, and then on the sides it's got kind of like this brick pattern here. And yeah, it just keeps me pretty warm. Wear it a lot in the fall and in the spring, and if you layer it in the winter, it can be good for you too. If you're being really active, like down to, I don't know, I went hiking up this mountain near Denver called Chief Mountain. It's a fairly easy hike. It's only about like 3 miles, 1,000 feet gain, something like that. And I wore this underneath a shell, and I was comfortable like with that level of exertion. You also have the cinch here at the bottom. So, well, that's enough of me talking about it. Oh yeah, no interior pockets. All the pockets are on the outside. But there's so many pockets on the outside that you don't really miss having interior pockets. All right, enough of me just talking about it. Let me throw it on and you can see how it fits. So I have this over a t-shirt and an R3 full zip. Most of the time I just have a t-shirt underneath it, some kind of a base layer. So here are these 2 hand warmer pockets. They kind of come up a little bit above like this baffle here, the sewing here. So they're quite large. We'll zip those up. And then here are the 2 chest pockets, which, let's see, I have an iPhone 11 in a case and it fits in there. No problem. And like I said, as far as like wear and tear goes, like there's a little bit of stitching that's coming undone here, but it's stitched over so many times I'm not worried about it. And it's a little bit dirty, but I haven't torn it or anything. I've been climbing, bouldering in it. There's some wear from bouldering kind of towards where my hands and arms are. But yeah, the waist is nice. I have like a 31-inch waist, and I do use the cinch every now and then depending on what's underneath it. But overall, it's a great jacket. Let me throw on the hood for you. You can see the hood is kind of goofy looking. It almost like squares off on top, but it works well, and that's what I care about. Zip up. You can see where the hood comes to on my face here. So there we go. Now the website says it's about 385 grams. Let's zip it up and weigh it and see what we're at. Again, this is a medium. I don't have anything in the pockets. Also, I can show you how much it folds up here. There's no like double zipper or anything in any of the pockets. So there's none that like scream like this is how you're supposed to fold it up. So let me see if I can actually fit it. I've never actually tried to fit it in one of the pockets. If it'll compress that far. Mine didn't come with the stuff sack or anything. I did buy it from Warnwear, so I'm not 100% certain if it does, like brand new, come with the stuff sack. But it doesn't seem like it's gonna fit in the pocket there. So, I mean, it gets close. So here's kind of what it stuffs down to. But yeah, let's weigh it and see where we're at. $393. Yep, it's completely on the scale. 394. 394 as far as grams go, which is 13.9 ounces. The Nano Air is probably one of the most suggested items of Patagonia clothing when people ask, you know, like on Reddit or something, what they should get. It is a bit more of a technical piece than something like, say, the Nano Puff, but I would 10 times out of 10 choose this over the Nano Puff just because I'm out hiking and doing stuff with this that just makes it make more sense for me. Because it is so popular, they're hard to find on the secondary market, especially in like a size medium. I actually saw this exact jacket on Poshmark the other day for like, I think it was like 40 or 50 bucks, and thought about snagging it for my cousin who lives nearby, who's the same size and has been looking for one for a while. And then I realized it had a bunch of like cigarette holes, and if it's got cigarette holes in it, holes aren't a deal breaker for me because you can repair them, but if it's cigarette butts, means it's probably been smoked in a lot, and that is a deal breaker for me. So I haven't seen one of these in a while. You can get a medium on Warnwear right now for around $150, and I know there are sales on the Nano Air right now because I think they're about to update it again. But I highly recommend getting this. You will not be disappointed. As far as waterproofness goes, because it's synthetic insulation, it'll still keep you warm when wet. It had at one point DWR finish. I haven't washed in a new DWR finish in a while, and to be honest with you, it doesn't rain a whole lot here where I live, and so I haven't tested it out in wet conditions in a while. It'll keep you somewhat dry, but it's better underneath the shell. So if you live in a wet area, I like the insulation for that, but I would put a shell over it. But overall, it's my most worn jacket, period, like I said, and for a reason. It's just really, really well made, and I especially like the first generation. I know they have to make some improvements, but this is one of those cases where I think that the improvements, they may be great. It's probably like 6 to 1, half dozen to the other, whether or not you like the newer version versus the old. I just happen to like the old a bit more, so I'm very happy with this first generation Nano Air from 2015, and I have a feeling that I'm going to be wearing this for a long time to come. Just a quick reminder to hit that subscribe button, and if you haven't yet, check out my account on Twitter. It's Almost Adventurous. It's spelled a little weirdly. I'll just link it down below in the description instead of telling you how to spell it right now. But I like to throw deals up on there that I see on Poshmark or Grailed or eBay, all these secondhand places for where you can find quality outdoor gear for less than, you know, you would even find these things on sale. So shop sustainably, shop used, and you'll save yourself some money. So hit that subscribe button on both Twitter and YouTube. I really appreciate it. Thanks, y'all.